6 p.m. From the docket of December 1st, 2015, I entertain a motion to approve the confirmation and the appointment of Robert Liero, 160 Dublin Way, Attleboro, to fill an unexpired term on the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, term to expire February 2017.
Second.
Thank you. And he is here this evening. If you would like to come up to the podium, please, Robert. And I had previously had a little conversation with Robert just to tell him that we are overly a friendly group overall, a friendly group of people.
We try to be.
We always try to invite all of the appointments in, any new appointments, so that way we can get to meet you, you meet us, your interest, and I just was talking about you with your resume, and questions of why you would like to be on the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, and if you would like to expound upon that, any...
Well, you know, just being a member of the community, I try to give back wherever I live.
Okay.
And I have a little experience with waste, not a lot, but some, both in the medical side and in the retail side. So I felt I might be able to be some use.
Great, and you also stated that you have been to a few meetings already.
Yes, I have already. Yeah.
Which is great, that you've already had that experience to check it out to see if it would be a good fit.
Yeah, great people, great people.
And then I kind of had also asked you what you observed while you were at those meetings, maybe some of the topics about the budget.
Yeah, well, mostly it's about the budget, exactly where we stand with the waste removal, talking about an upcoming audit with the waste to see if we're getting bucks worth. Cost per gallon or get rid of the tonnage, and also the new environmental aspect of it with the new people that were hired. So it looks like it has a lot of future.
Great. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that I may not have asked you already in front of the whole committee? I know you're also on the Oak Hill Committee, Oak Hill Ave Committee, I think you believe?
I'm the president of the Oak Hill Mobile Homeowners Association. We have about 180 homes that belong to the association.
Great.
And we're for the betterment of the community, and
And you're retired currently? So
not
you have-
currently, permanently.
I like that.
I'm a disabled vet, 100% disabled vet, so
Oh, thank you for your service.
thank you.
As a veteran. It's great that you're giving back to the community, and now that you're retired, that you can now serve on a board that you feel you can help bring some of your
hope
personal
so.
experience and aspect of your background too. So thank you, and I'll open it up to the floor, and thank you for volunteering, first of all.
Thank
And
you.
I'll open it up to the floor. Yes.
I just want to convey my thank you. Without volunteers on these committees, the city would come to a standstill because we can't do it all, administration can't do it all. So I thank you for your commitment.
And we do take the advice that these boards give us into consideration. We do go over any, whether it be a report they present to us or they come before us on the council, because as we said during budget times, that solid waste does come up before us. So thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. I was curious, I'd like to ask individuals who come in front of us on occasion, we have so many different committees that require volunteers. What was it, did you request to be on this particular committee, or did you send in your resume and say, where can you put me?
No, I requested 2 committees, solid waste and the new council on disabilities, which is just in the middle of forming.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Both on that, and also being disabled, I have a very good impact on that one.
Definitely an area of expertise for yourself.
But I'm very familiar with medical waste, and I did a lot with, as a nurse. I had all kinds of training on,
Hear that? All right. I'm a nurse, too. He likes that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
so, yeah, we kept having a lot of in-house servicing on solid waste. And in my retail management, I was in charge of convenience stores. And I did a direct negotiation with all my vendors on getting rid of waste, such as cardboard, reusable waste.
It sounds to me, sometimes there's a lot of different personalities on the variety of boards. And it sounds like you have a heavy experience in working with a variety of people, so the skills that you have with that are coming pretty good.
Forgive me for leaning over, it just
No,
just
that's
comfortable
fine,
for me.
that's fine. So thank you, and welcome aboard, and best of luck to you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to support your appointment, and I'm very grateful that you are volunteering.
Thank you.
And I was going to ask you what Councilor Parika asked you, and you answered it, but I would like to know how long were you involved in the negotiations? You said, and I couldn't quite hear you.
I was involved in negotiations for my company, for the retail side of it. Negotiation with companies like Waste Management, Solid Waste Field Incorporated.
How long a period of time were you involved in?
25 years.
Wonderful. That's great. Terrific. Very happy on board.
And this was in actually just different states. So
Wonderful.
I've dealt with all the...
Thank you so much for volunteering to help the city out.
Thank you.
And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Thank you. So what we'll do tonight, the committee will vote on it, and then it'll be brought to the full committee at the next next council meeting, and then the 11 of us, or those present, will vote on it, and then it goes to the mayor for the certificate of vote, his signature, and then you'll receive something either in the mail, or we can contact you and let you know that you've been appointed.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your time tonight.
But please continue to go to the meetings until you get that word that you are on
Well,
it.
thank you for your time tonight. It's a pleasure meeting all of you for the first time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So much.
Y'all
Happy
good night now.
Thanksgiving.
Okay, and I'd like to, I have to abstain from the next one, so Peter Blair is going to finish it when.
We gotta vote on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, and then I'm gonna call for, when I do a recess, because I have to
Yeah,
abstain.
recess.
So I call for a recess?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. We are in
You
recess.
can give me that, I'll do it. It's,
Back from recess.
you don't have this one here. Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the addition of the following 5 words in Article 10, Section 1 of the current approved rules and regulations for the city's exempt group that was updated July 1st, 2015, after AED stipend and the administrative assignment differential. I have a second?
Second.
This, right now, you folks know as much about it as I do. But I do believe this is a differential for administrative assistant differential.
They use the AED, so when they have the training for the defibrillator,
Yeah,
they get a stipend for that.
Right.
And it was left out of the rules when we went through the rules.
and that applies to the police department,
Yes.
correct? So that's why
For those
Ms. Hagney
administrators.
relieved herself from this because her brother is chief and it regards money to police department. It was inadvertently left out, or wasn't worded right. If there's any problems with that I should look into before next week, please let me know. If not, no other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. I couldn't get that AED with that stipend.
Move to adjourn?
Is that the end of her meeting?
Yeah, that's all she needed.
Okay, so, did
Call
you-
to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
I didn't know she had more stuff to do.
No, that was the
Committee
other one.
on Ordinances, Elections, and Legislative Matters is canceled for tonight.
Committee on Capital Improvements and City Development is canceled time.
Well, transportation and traffic is canceled tonight.
Public Safety Emergency Management. I guess I'm up.
You're in.
Yeah, there you go, Brian.
To be honest with
I don't think I'm going to need a third, but Mark will be the second if I need a third.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Call budget appropriations to order at 7:16. Thank you. All right. From the docket of December 1st, 2015, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $282,000 from account 1-000-359000, undesignated fund balance free cash general government, to account 1124-1000-596000, citywide stabilization fund.
Second.
Thank you. A number of years ago, we set a policy, a cash policy of when cash is certified, when free cash is certified, and we're in the financial position to be able to do so, to be able to move a portion over to the stabilization fund every year. The mayor committed those years ago to commit $282,000 per year over to stabilization. I had a conversation with the mayor this afternoon. Currently, there's about $2.2 million in our stabilization fund. There's a number of balances proposed to go into the stabilization fund tonight. I don't know that if I have all of them based on the mayor's communication, but the plan is that about $1.1 million would be going into the stabilization fund. But with a couple of things coming out, about the same amount is actually being borrowed from the stabilization fund in order to go forward with some of the projects that's proposed. A lot of those projects are reimbursement projects. So in the end, when all that money is repaid by those grants, then we're looking at about this time next year, the stabilization fund should have about $3.2 million in it. Is the projected amount at this point. We have a number of times borrowed from our own stabilization fund in order to fund different projects when we were able to access those grant dollars. A lot of times, and like we have to do tonight, we will be voting for the full amount, but the reality is only a small portion of that amount is actually going to be used for the project. The remainder would, we have to allocate and show in a full vote that we've covered the full amount of the funds for it to be a reimbursement grant from the state or the federal, depending on which type of grant we get. So those are the words that that I spoke with the mayor earlier this afternoon, and but that's just the first one in terms of paying the stabilization fund based on the cash policy that was established a number of years ago. Any questions? Seeing none at this time, all those in favor? Aye. Aye, motion passes. I have Mr. Cook down, so you can.
Again, I didn't see you.
Thank you. Next, again, all these are from the document December 1st, 2015. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to appropriate $400,000 from account 1-000-359000, undesignated fund balance, free cash general government, to account 11241-000-596000, citywide stabilization funds that were used to cover a portion of the fiscal year 2015 snow deficit.
Second.
Thank you. As we know, when we were doing the budget, the mayor used $400,000 to cover the snow deficit at that time, and he promised that when free cash was certified, if we had that cash available, he would then return those funds to the stabilization fund. This is his commitment to do so. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Third, I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to appropriate $170,000 from account 1-000-359000, undesignated fund balance free cash general government, to account 11241-000-596000, citywide stabilization fund, which represents the mandatory local cash match for the purchase of the property on Handy Street for conservation, open space, and passive outdoor recreation and associated project costs. Thank you. If we go back, on the Handy Street land that was purchased, we borrowed money from the stabilization fund. A good portion of that money was already reimbursed from the government, from the federal government, but the remaining, we had borrowed from the stabilization fund. Again, the mayor had promised to reimburse the stabilization fund with free cash once that free cash was certified in order to replenish the stabilization fund now that the land has already been purchased. And again, it's just the mayor's commitment to reimburse the stabilization fund for the projects that we had completed in 2014, 2015. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Next, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $194,453.54 from account 1000-359-000 undesignated fund balance, free cash general government, to account 11241-000-596-000 citywide stabilization fund, to reimburse the stabilization fund for funds that were reallocated to an eligible activity for the city to use on a project that satisfies a natural objective to the CDBG program.
Second.
I should use the same explanation for this one. We had borrowed from the stabilization fund to, we had to cover an eligible cost reimbursement to the federal government on a CDBG issue within the last 2 years, and that was a 2014. When the mayor has wanted to reimburse the stabilization fund for these funds, the stabilization fund is, or the free cash was at a point where he feels that this $194,000+ can be reimbursed into the stabilization fund at this time. Yes.
Do you know what the eligible activity was?
You knew that was coming.
I can get you that. But do I know what it is at this moment? I remember voting it. Do I remember what it was for?
Wow.
But I remember voting it.
Voted what?
With the $194,000 for an eligible cost.
Wasn't
And I
that-
remember it was 194, or we were gonna end up having to do 700. So it was the lesser of two evils, and that's, but do I remember what it was for? No, but I will get it for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's something to do with the parade, the centennial?
No.
This goes back to Belanowski.
No, this is back a CDBG issue. And because jobs needed to be created and jobs weren't created, and do I remember which project? Do I remember what? No, but it was where jobs were needed to be created and they weren't created, they wanted reimbursement.
Was it that the fish,
The what?
the fish plant
No.
Before that.
before
It's
that?
before the fish, the Mars.
If you want to just send me an email about it, that'd be great. No worries.
And what I'll do is
Just so
I'll do
I
it
have-
through Ken.
That's fine. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much.
I do all my reimbursements through Ken, no.
No, that'd be great.
Distributions of-
Just, it appears to me this was something that was prior to
Yes.
my time on the council.
Way before.
So
Yep.
before I take a vote on it, I'd like
Okay.
to just have some backup
sure.
documentation so I can make a
Okay.
appropriate. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
Again, we had borrowed from,
I don't have
I know
the-
we borrowed from the stabilization to do something, and this is reimbursing the stabilization.
I don't have the expectation that I wouldn't support something
Okay.
like this clearly, but just so that I know exactly what I'm voting on. I
Sure.
appreciate it. Thank you.
But I will get that. Okay?
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you. I'd like to still, I'll get that and make sure it's distributed to everyone. But I'd like to move forward with the vote, and we'll have that before next week. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request that, and by the way, this has to be worded specifically in this way, so some of the phrasing is not what we usually hear, but for the grant request on this, it has to be worded just this way. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request that the municipal council appropriate $680,000 from Fund 8455-59000 Stabilization Fund, Other Financing Uses, to Fund 3535-499-000 Angel Park renovations, other financing sources, for the design and renovations of Angel Park located on Park Street in anticipation of a Parkland Acquisitions and Renovations for Communities, or PARC, grant award, to authorize the mayor to file the park grant application, to seek reimbursement under the park grant program, to enter any necessary contracts thereto, to permanently dedicate the property for active recreation and playground purposes pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 45, Section 3, for the enjoyment by the general public, and for the property to permanently remain under the care and control of the Park Commission, and to approve the mayor's request that the municipal council to authorize the city pursuant to Section 1-12, gifts to the city of Attleboro, of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro, as amended, to expend the park grant approximately in the amount of $400,000 from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs of the Commonwealth.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. So, about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, there was discussions and possible paperwork already and votes down here at the municipal council level regarding the Angel Park being renovated. That was put on hold, and we went through and finished the Briggs Playground Park. I'm missing the structure that's there, the different play items and things. We had a ribbon cutting. But one park was done, and now this is the second time where we go through the application process, and we've been invited into this process through this park program to be able to renovate Angel Park. And there's a whole plan. There's a general plan, and then there'll be specific drawings and whatnot. So the reimbursement part is approximately in the amount of $400,000. We have to go through and vote the full amount from stabilization of the 680, and they need to see the full amount of 680, but it's expected that we will only be using the 280, and that they will be covering the $400,000 in terms of the renovations, which would include the new grass areas and new playground equipment, like they did at Briggs, seating and picnic benches and trees and grass and all the whole thing, basketball areas and other recreation things that they want to do that. So I think it's great to, again, revitalize one of our parks. Something we drive by every day, but you drive by it and it looks a little tough now. It looks a little worse for the wear, and it's. I think this is great, offset from the Briggs playground to this one. We've seen other playground areas renovated, and the state, this Executive Office of Environmental Affairs of the Commonwealth is willing to kick in $400,000. So I think that's a good price, and we can move forward with that. Mr. Blair.
This grant been granted to us? Or said we are eligible to apply?
We are eligible to apply, to go into the process. We were eligible to apply in the past.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was thinking.
they had stopped because we had gone through the other process, and that was a different grant that we had used at the Briggs Playground.
New round of grant application.
New round of grant applications. Mr. Cooper.
I think, piggybacking on Council Blair's point, in the communication from the mayor, it says this project will not advance forward without the grant.
Okay.
So he's not going to do it if he doesn't
Yeah,
get the grant.
that's what
Which I
I,
think is reasonable.
prudent.
Yep, right.
So,
Thank you.
and the granting authority are looking for a full vote from the council
we will support it.
that we will support it at the 680, knowing that it is a reimbursement program, and that the mayor won't go forward with it unless it's funded. Any other questions? I think it's a great situation. I'll move forward for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I have one other motion. This from the docket of November 17th, 2015. I entertain a motion to strike from the docket of November 17th, 2015, the mayor's request that the municipal council, in accordance with section 5-8 lease purchase agreement of the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro, approve a 36-month lease agreement with the option to purchase between the city of Attleboro and Axiom Business Technologies for a Konica C364E photocopier for the community development office.
Second.
Thank you. I received an email, and I was going to print it out, but of course, I ran out of ink tonight, so it didn't, it was a nice sheet of paper, but nothing came out on it. So, time for new ink. But the email it was between Ken and the mayor's secretary, that instead of going with a 36-month lease, they've gone with, not a lease, but equipment rental. And because of the equipment rental, that doesn't require council approval. So they're not going forward with the 36-month lease, but they're going with equipment rental. Therefore, we're just striking this. You've already declared that item, the old item, surplus, so this will clean up that issue. Any questions? Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. That concludes the business that I have this evening for budget and appropriations. Move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned at 7:31.
To speed the process up, reporting for Public Works, I'll do it from my chair. From the docket of December 1st, 2015, I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to transfer $23,052.72 from account 11241-000-578300, Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the following account. Maintenance of traffic lights, $10,265. Professional services, $2,944. Supplies equipment, $9,843.72.
Second.
Okay, I got a couple more lines. That's fine. To repair, it's in the odd order tonight.
I know.
Shannon, it's really not your fault. To repair several traffic signals, along with police details associated with the repairs, and funds to repair the 2005 Elgin street sweeper that we use constantly.
Second.
Okay. It's pretty self-explanatory. The maintenance of traffic lights, a safety issue. Professional services, that happens to be detail police details for these jobs. As you know, most of these lights are in a very busy section of town, and we wouldn't have the lights. And the equipment repairs to that sweeper that we see out in the streets, keeping our streets as clean as possible. Any questions or comments? Yes.
If I may, I'm having a hard time finding the backup documentation in the mayor's communication with this, but for some reason I thought that I saw somewhere that it was specific to one of the street light, traffic light maintenance was the school light pedestrian walk on the corner of County and North, 4th Street by the old high school, because that was a hit and run.
On Halloween night.
Yeah.
That went over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it was a hit and run, is that how it comes out?
Yes, that's, I for some reason I can't put my.
It's relatively, I don't want to say, it's glad you wanted to know where it is.
No, I
but,
was just, I was just simply making a point, just that it was leaning over, like at a hard angle, and then it went all the way over, and then it disappeared and it's underneath the cone, so it just as a point of interest, that was one of the.
If it was a hit and run, then there's no insurance company involved.
Sure.
So.
I was just merely mentioning that, yeah, it's not just simply regular traffic light maintenance, it's things like that Brian and I witnessed.
Well, it all comes out of that account, Ms. Parika. So when we do draw it out of that account, we've got to put back money into that account in case a bulb goes out. We don't want to have no money in the account, so we can't put a bulb in.
Yeah, I wasn't not supporting it, I was
Okay,
simply.
thank you.
I was simply bringing up a point
Thank
in backup documentation.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Conti?
How dare we put a traffic light signal where someone wants to drive a car?
This particular light was hit and run, and
The
you
Elgin
see more
sweeper.
with that.
Yeah, the Elgin sweeper. My memory of the sweeper that was in the DPW is clouded. I know we had an old Elgin big yellow sweeper that was in really bad shape.
We have
But I don't remember, did we trade that in and buy a
Now,
new
we
one 2 years
stripped
ago?
that for parts, Richard, we've
Yeah.
done everything
So
with
that's
that.
not the one that we're repairing. We're
No,
repairing.
no, this is the one we use on a daily basis.
Right, and that's a newer one that we bought about 2 years ago? 3
Time
years
goes
ago?
by that fast, it could
I
be
know.
longer.
I know.
We bought two of them, didn't we? Didn't we
Yes.
get separately, but we got two of them. So is
We
this-
might have a newer one than that, Richard, besides this one. This
I'm in
might be the
support of the
backup.
motion. I just was trying to remember the equipment scenario and
When we replaced a lot of equipment, that old one was still there, and we've used an awful lot of parts off it.
yeah, so it's still there being stripped. The old
It
one.
was still there,
There was one,
Surplus
I
one?
did, I
It's
out
surplus.
in the back on the
Yes, when
left-hand
John was
side.
still here, I surplus one.
Okay, good, thank you.
That would go to the scrapyard
Yep.
after
Right.
whatever parts we take off. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I have no other business this evening. Thank you. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Do you want to go for zoning or you want me to go?
Walter, are you,
I'm out.
you're out?
I'm out, yeah. No, I already canceled, so.
All right. I'm going to do zoning and land use this evening in the absence of Council Wade. Call to order at 7:37. From the docket of December 1st, 2015, I entertain a motion to accept the conservation restriction for property located on Bishop Street, more specifically Assessors Plat Number 200, Lot Number 19, offered by the Attleboro Land Trust, and to place it under the stewardship of the Conservation Commission.
Second.
Thank you. We received the 16-page restriction. I think the Land Trust is asking us to put this under the stewardship of the Conservation Commission, and having been a member of that commission, I agree with that. I think this is all good to preserve open space and work collaboratively with our land trust partners in keeping and maintaining large open tracts of land. Any other, yes?
I think for the sake of discussion, to educate the public, that the conservation easements are instigated by federal tax returns, that the people who own the land get a major tax advantage over a period of time, and that the open space valuation still contributes to the value of the city. It's still precious land, and open space is an actual category that is watched carefully. So I'm fully in support of this. It's in a perfect location for it to happen, and the Conservation Commission is diligent about the property that it's under its charge. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Council Conti. It is, just to be more specific about your comments, it is located off of Bishop Street. It's 14.39 acres, lots of street frontage on Bishop Street. I can't quite read the copy, but it's quite a bit. And it directly abuts city-owned land known as Finberg Playground, so
Yeah.
we're all familiar with that.
We're all familiar with the land is, because there's one big stretch on the right-hand side as you're driving out.
Correct.
And it's largely wet.
Council Thibodeau.
Thank you. Council Cook. I just wanted to add that in my tenure on the council, I've found that one of the most difficult decisions I've had to make over the years is trying to keep a balance between commercial development, residential development, and open land. And I have to say that I think that in Attleboro, we've done a pretty good job at keeping those three parcels as equal as possible in preserving open space so that residents of the city and other residents from outside the city who come in as our guests have an opportunity to do some passive recreation or other things that they may not have in their own community. And but it's difficult to make that choice so often because even if it's wetlands, The way the federal laws can read sometimes, they will allow you to replicate some of the wetlands on another location by destroying wetlands in this location as long as it's on the same parcel. So how do you balance all of those things, all good things, all things that contribute to the lifestyle and the kind of community that we all enjoy? And this is one of the big ones, I think. Next to education, maybe the balance is probably one of the most important things for decisions that we make. It keeps younger generations here, and generations that haven't grown up here want to come here, because we do have that balance of space. So I just wanted to make those comments, because it's not often that we recognize that. And it's really important.
President Cook?
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. I just wanted to add, I have had some conversations with the Land Trust in recent weeks regarding this item. And again, it was mentioned as it does about Finborough Field, but it also, perhaps equally as importantly, it does also about some real estate already owned by the Attleboro Land Trust, as well as some private property in this area. And again, this is going to be co-owned, as was mentioned in the packet of information we got last week, to be co-owned by both the Conservation Commission and the Attleboro Land Trust. And the beauty of this is that it will ensure that this property will remain forever in its natural and open condition. And also, going back to what Walter was just mentioning, going back to the early 70s, before some of us lived here, the acquisition of open space has been a core policy of the city relative to preserving open space recreation plans during that time. So this is something just that is in keeping with a past established practice of the city. Council has, in many occasions, and many of you have been involved in votes along this line, to continue to preserve some of this land. I did want to add, just for my colleagues, if there are any questions that you have on this, that if you haven't answered tonight, we did get quite a bit of information last week in the packet, including a diagram. This is a matter that and I shared this with Mr. Cooper earlier this evening, this is an issue that we have to vote on this coming Tuesday night, because there are some related paperwork that has to go in later during the first week in December. So if there's any concerns that people have, please reach out to Mr. Cooper, the Zoning and Land Use Committee, and so we can get those addressed so that we will be able to vote on this on Tuesday night at the latest. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
This land abuts the parking lot in Finborough Field? Basically, I haven't got the sketch.
Not
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
exactly, because there's some of that
Here's Finborough Field.
post beyond the parking lot, there's a fence.
Yeah?
I don't know how far beyond the fence the city land goes before this land starts. Some of that is city-owned land on the other side of that fence, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how deep it goes. So if you're coming down and it's on your right,
Yeah.
you go past the telephone pole fence and you
Right.
enter the parking lot.
there.
There's a fence that goes all the way back, almost all the way back.
That, I believe, is on our boundary line, city boundary.
I thought that the city owned some on the other side of that fence.
My question isn't relative to exactly that fence line. This is owned now by Robert O'Donnell still?
Yes,
And he's looking to turn it over.
Correct.
correct.
This becomes city property, correct?
That's
Do
what
we
it's,
have, is any contamination? Examination's been done on that land?
I don't know, this landed
Well, this is a
with me
question.
45 minutes
All
ago.
right, so if I don't bring this up, I wouldn't be
Mhm.
due diligent. On that Finberg Field area,
Well, I
where
don't,
it used to be the city dump. I know you don't remember, but I do, right? That was a city dump, and there was contamination problems, and you remember last year we went through it,
right.
right? I am just asking that question because I don't want the city to take over a piece of land that has contamination that we in the future will be responsible for. So if you could please look into that before next week?
Sure, I think,
Tomorrow?
I think I will do that, but I'm somewhat surprised because we currently own a parcel of land that abuts it, that we don't fully understand what's currently there. So to think that there was anything done on this land, I think is not likely, but I'll verify that if anything was done.
I'm
to
just
check.
saying,
Sure, no problem.
my concern is, we have spent money cleaning up Finburg.
Well, we didn't spend it yet, but,
You know, eventually, we spend money back capping that.
right.
So we've spent money in a contaminated area that we created. I just would hope that we're not taking on a responsibility. that's
Sure,
all.
I can find out the answer to that, no
Yep.
problem, I can ask.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, problems? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Right, you did, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you.
I think we spoke at the same
Motion
time.
passes, thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request that the municipal council appropriate $459,250 from Fund 8455-599000 Stabilization Fund, other funding uses to Fund 3539499000 EOEEA, Wilmoth, other financing sources to purchase a conservation restriction on 57.68 acres of contiguous land located on Wilmoth Street, to authorize the mayor to file the LAND grant application to seek reimbursement under the LAND grant program, to enter any necessary contracts thereto, to permanently dedicate the property for conservation, open space, and passive outdoor recreation purposes pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 8C, for the enjoyment by the general public, and to place the property under the care and control of the Conservation Commission, and to approve the mayor's request that the municipal council authorize the city pursuant to Section 1-12 gifts to the city of Attleboro of the revised ordinance of the city of Attleboro as amended to expend the LAND grant, Mass General Law, Chapter 132A, Section 11, approximately in the amount of $308,210 from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs of the Commonwealth.
Second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this we did get in the mayor's communication. The city must fulfill the full project costs of the $459,000. This is similar to what you just put back into the, the mandatory local cash match for the purchase of the conservation restriction is about $151,000. And again, this project will not advance forward without a state grant. If they don't get the grant for the acquisition of the almost 58 acres of land, they won't go forward. Councilor Blair.
I was involved years back. Mr. and Mrs. Richardson both passed away with a private developer to buy and to develop that piece of property. It's probably one of the nicest pieces of property in the city that's left. Mrs. Richardson is very, very active in the city and open space and the garden club, and what a wonderful woman she was. And I know that she would be tremendously pleased that this land be turned over for recreation and whatnot. That was her wish, and her son that we met with strongly urged that we would try to do something along the lines to satisfy her wish. It's a gorgeous piece of land, absolutely gorgeous. We thank the Richardsons for, not selling it for, you're talking a lot of money. I don't want to tell you what, but a lot of money. And it's a beautiful piece of property to be in the hands of conservation.
And I just will also say, I forgot to say, they did already apply for they submitted the grant application in July for this.
Good.
So-
I have well wishes we get that grant because that piece of property is unbelievable.
Would be nice. Any other questions, comments, problems? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. That's all the business. for zoning and land use. Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Conti. We are all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We are adjourned at 7:50 PM.
All right, but, can you give this official?
I call city property and claims to order at 7:51. And Councilor President Cook, you'll be my third.
Yes, I was going to mention that to you.
I have three motions from the docket of December 1st, 2015. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to transfer $1,000 from account 1124100057830 citywide reserve fund for transfer to the following accounts: 1240100524230 protective inspection vehicle maintenance $300, and 1240100-513000 protective inspection overtime for $700 to cover the cost of regular maintenance for 3 building inspection department vehicles due to an expected heater core replacement, as well as police and fire department overtime due to the increased number of after-hour calls.
Second.
I spoke with Deb Gould and, by long association, Mr. Semple tonight to kind of get a little bit of a background on this. So one of the vehicles has a burnt-out coil, heater coil, core replacement.
The leaky heater core.
Whatever. The truck's broken.
Exactly.
We need to fix it. It's $300. We're fixing it.
It's 500.
Well, they need a transfer for $300.
Okay.
So we're gonna give them that. Then, for the protective overtime, inspection overtime, I was curious about that because the number seemed a little bit low to me. And I wasn't necessarily familiar as to why, what the overtime would be and how it works in conjunction with the police and the fire department. So typically what happens is that we have to send out one of our inspectors in the event that a resident is cutting down a tree and it falls on a fence, or there is a house fire, or like there's a motor vehicle accident that hits a pole. We need to send somebody out to make sure that it's structurally acceptable or not, and move forward from there. Any private contractors, they pay that additional fee if they have to go out for that. And then all the employees in the inspections department, with the exception of Doug, are under their union employees, and it is an overtime requirement. So for right now, $700 will cover that. We'll see how, as we progress throughout the year, if we have additional need for that to be refunded. Yes, Mr. Conti.
This department is understaffed in a market that is exploding. They're way ahead of forecast on their income due to fees because they're so busy. They could use another protective service inspector right now who could easily do 200 inspections a month. That's how far behind they are. So this department's already generated in this fiscal year $830,000+ in fees and charges and permits. And what they're asking for is insignificant compared to what they need. So I heartily support the measure, and I hope your committee will give it speedy passage.
Absolutely.
And that concludes my
Hey,
comments.
interestingly, I agree with you. I understand that they are, through a variety of conversations with individuals in that department, I mean, they are working constantly, but it's really difficult to find qualified licensed individuals to fill those positions, if we have one available. So, obviously, as we progress through, we'll see how things go.
So we can conclude mothers and fathers raise your children to become building inspectors.
Exactly. Send them to trade school, heaven's sakes. Any questions, concerns, problems, anything like that? I move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to declare the following items as surplus and available for disposition. 2 23 by 23 by half inch by 35 and a half inch burgundy bulletin boards, condition excellent.
Second.
Thank you. These are two bulletin boards that were formerly in the mayor's office that he's no longer utilizing. They're in excellent condition. Nobody currently wants them. Maybe we'll put them up on public surplus. There is a general request throughout City Hall where everything's been repainted and we have new wallpaper in certain locations that we're not hanging up as much, so we don't have the excessive repairs and tears and things like that, lots of tape. And we're required by the fire department to not have so much stuff hanging up on the walls. It's a fire issue. So, any questions? Move for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the following health department item as surplus and available for disposition. One Big Belly solar trash compactor, serial number 160644, condition inoperable.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cook. It actually is. Really? Ready? I have all sorts of information.
Because I thought that just came in, not that long.
No, not these ones. So, we have, so perhaps you've been, this particular machine is over at Hayward Field. So those of us who have lots of football practices, or cheer practice, well, no cheer, but we see it all the time. It's a solar compactable trash thing, so it has little holes that you put your water bottle in and it smushes it down, so it reduces the amount of times they have to come out and empty the trash, saving money over time, things like that. We also have two at Ponce and Hewitt. We have a trash and recycling, one of each at Ponce and Hewitt and one of each at Capron Park. This particular one at Hayward Field was funded back in either 2006 or 2007 by a National Grid grant. So we never paid any money for these at all to begin with. This was the first production of this particular piece of machinery. There have been many improvements since 2006. Sometimes they can even send a text message now to the DPW saying we need to, or the Park and Rec to come and empty it. So what happened with this particular one, it stopped functioning. And in an effort to save money, the health department called, let me just, hold on one second. They called Big Belly and tried to diagnose the problem on the phone first so that they would not have to call someone out, because it's $150 plus labor plus this, that, and the other thing to have someone come out and take a look at it. The recommendation was to replace the battery. So they ordered the battery was $89. They gave it to the rec department went out, changed the battery, did not fix the problem. So in the end, they ended up having to ask someone to come out to see if they could fix the problem. It was determined that their life expectancy, so this is what I'll tell you. It says, "Good morning, Cheryl. Sorry, I'm just getting back to you. It is Big Belly's recommendation that station number 160644 be more costly to fix than it would be to scrap. Based on its age, it has lasted its useful operating expectancy, which is 7 to 10 years. The station version was our first production, all of those things that I told you, and then they go on to try and get us to buy another one for $2,800. So, which we will not be doing. So, for them, the cost for them to come out and take a look at it was $312.50. They determined that they couldn't fix it. They did credit us back the $89, so it's just it's around $250 for them to come out and take a look at it. The best thing for us to do, quite frankly, they will not be replacing it. We're not spending that kind of money. It was great that we got them for free, but now that it's we don't have a National Grid grant currently to get new ones. So the best thing for us to do, it is extraordinarily heavy, and Cheryl's scrap guy said he'll come and get it, and that's what they would like to do.
$50 in scrap.
Boom. So
Still out $200.
still at $200. However, we have to also think, though, that over the course since 2007 until now 2015, that there has been trips out there that it has saved us.
Sure.
So I'm sure it's saved us more than $200 somewhere along the line. Any questions, concerns with regards to this? All right.
I wouldn't dare.
I think
So many jokes, so little time, right?
So many, yeah, there's just so many that come to mind.
my big belly. Anyway,
It'll be a crushing vote.
Oh.
That was a good one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. That concludes the business for city property claims. I would move for an adjournment at 8 o'clock.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Smashing performance.
Thank you very much.
It's a wrap, I think, eh?
No, we have license.
I was helping Ken, that's why I was delayed in sitting out here on a couple of matters. What committee is canceled tonight? I think I know, but I just want to make
Ordinances?
sure. Ordinances, capital improvements,
Public safety.
public safety,
Transportation and traffic.
transportation, traffic. Okay, thank you.
And thank you for
Just wanna make
all
sure.
that work you did, because I have some of it before me, so thank you. I hope Mr. Churchill is feeling better, he's not here tonight. I'd like to call to order 8:01 PM, the Licenses Committee. Thank you, Mr. Denley and President Cook will be on the committee this evening. From the docket of December 1st, 2015, I entertain a motion to approve the following applications for a 2016 renewal automatic amusement device license from the Portuguese American Club, 65 Prairie Avenue, Attleboro, Mass. For one pool table, one jukebox. Papagino's Incorporated, 103 Pleasant Street, Attleboro, Mass. For one key master device.
Second?
Thank you, and this is a renewal. We have gone over these before in the applications, and it's just another year for another renewal. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you, motion passes. The next one that I have from the docket of December 1st, 2015, I'd like to call for a public hearing for Route 123 Village Auto Sales Incorporated, 1076 Pleasant Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 15 customer parking spaces and 15 display spaces.
Second?
For December 15th, 2015. The public hearing. Thank you, Mr. Denley. And this is something that we got in our backup because the application was received after the due date. And then Ken was contacted by Sharon Rivard, the acting clerk at the time, that the renewal application for the Class 2 license for Route 123 Village Auto Sales was late, but was already read into the record at the special meeting held on November 10th. The item was referred to the License Committee. It needs a public hearing because he wasn't informed at the time it was read into the record, so we're doing that now, calling for a public hearing. So just procedural. Okay, any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Public hearing will be December 15th, 2015. From the docket of December 1st, 2015, I entertain a motion to call for a public hearing December 15 for Attleboro Collision Center, Incorporated, doing business as KAR Auto Sales, 50 Falmouth Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 7 customer parking spaces and 9 display spaces.
Second?
Thank you. And as the previous one before, President Cook took care of some of the backup information and informed us that the public hearing needs to be called on December 15th. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. That public hearing will be December 15th for Attleboro Collision Center. I entertain a motion to approve the following applications for 2016 renewal Class 2 licenses. First, Ryan's Auto Sales Incorporated, 537 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 3 customer parking spaces and 15 display spaces. 100% Auto Wholesalers, 21 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 10 customer parking spaces and 48 display spaces. Jeff Millett Auto Center Incorporated, doing business as JMAC, 30 Main Street, Attleboro, for 4 customer parking spaces and 23 display spaces. CNA Millennium Motors Incorporated, 1844 County Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 10 customer parking spaces and 8 display spaces. Landis Enterprises LLC, doing business as Landis Family Auto Sales, 800 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 40 customer spaces and 62 display spaces. J Motor Group Incorporated, 1856 County Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 4 customer spaces and 20 display spaces. Mike Sicaro, doing business as Mike's Automotive, 801 South Main Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 10 customer spaces and 15 display spaces. State Line Auto Brokers Incorporated, 1115 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 6 customer spaces and 42 display spaces. Looney Tuned Auto Sales, 826 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 11 customer parking spaces and 34 display spaces.
Second?
Thank you. These are all for renewal Class 2 licenses, and I know over the course of the time, committee members, I've stopped, I'm sure Jeremy stops and looks, and Councilor Churchill does, and I stopped and talked to Mike and looked at his setup, and it's nice now with the sidewalk over there in Twin Village that he can keep the spaces back. Remember, we've always had problems over the years, so he likes that, and he said thank you to the mayor for installing that sidewalk in DPW. And a couple of the other spaces that Mr. Churchill did mention, I did stop to kind of see if they had moved the space, some of the cars, and they did. So I didn't have any other problems as one of the committee members, and I know Jeremy's always very diligent, also as another committee member, and I didn't have any other problems. Okay? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. From the docket of December 1st, 2015, application for a 2016 renewal Class 1 license from National Van Builders Incorporated, 70 through 84 Pine Street in 7 Parker Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 8 customer parking spaces. No, I'm sorry. That's
That one's having
for
a
a
problem,
public
we're having a public
hearing.
hearing.
Yeah.
We already called for that public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and the same thing on the next one.
Yeah, I
The
just
next
wanted
two.
to make sure, I'm sorry, because there was a
Right.
little confusion. That's why Ken was passing me some papers over there to go
Right.
back and
Yeah,
forth.
those three we called for the public hearing last week.
Yeah,
on
we
the
called
first
for that, we
page.
got that, and I think that's everything
On
unless,
the second page,
yeah,
Yep.
the
For
docket
the
of
green
November
light?
17th.
public hearing, okay, for that one, and
Right.
just that last one, okay? I entertain a motion to approve the application for a new Class 2 license from Greenlight Auto Sales Incorporated, 650 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 10 customer parking spaces and 49 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. We did have a public on November 17th, 2015, and the gentleman did come before us, and no one else spoke in opposition. And the committee has not received any other complaints or anything in opposition. So unless my committee, Mr. Churchill's committee, and Jeremy, any other issues or problems? No? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. I'd like to call for an adjournment at 8:07 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. We are adjourned at 8:07 p.m.
Put mine in there.
Thank you. Did you just say I had to abstain?
Yes, I
Shannon,
did.
Yeah.
Shannon, on those 2 items
Jeremy.
that you called for a public hearing,
Yeah.
because